in hand, the same study showed that the gamers who averaged more than 8 hours a day of racing were 3 times as likely to get into a car accident as those who played less than an hour. According to a recent study of drivers ages 16 to 24, more than 30% were more likely to drive faster after playing a driving game. A study from the same year found participants were more aggressive when they drove a simulator right after finishing a virtual race. So it's not just racing games that could spur risky driving. The Psychology of Popular Media Culture surveyed teenagers who played mature-rated video games involving violence. Those often played the games that were more than likely to admit to unsafe driving habits like speeding, tailgating, or not wearing seatbelts, all leading causes of teenage driver accidents. So how can parents make sure the safe driving message gets heard? Video games don't have to be banned altogether, but playing time should be limited, and that goes back to limiting the screen time. And it's harder as the kids become teenagers to limit that screen time. The American Academy of Pediatrics recommends keeping kids' total screen time on smartphones, TVs, and games less than 2 hours per day. Not going to happen. I'll personally write the American Academic Pediatrics because you can't live without your mobile device today. Also encourage kids to choose racing games over fighting or shooter style ones. All right. So the reference I made to Call of Duty, maybe you shouldn't spend 8 hours, zoning out on it. But here are some additional ways to help teens develop healthy driving habits. You got to ask young drivers to turn off the screens well before getting behind the wheel. Prohibit speeding. Most teen drivers don't have the experience to handle a vehicle at high speeds. Encourage teens to leave early so they don't feel like they have to speed to get where they're going. Give new drivers extra practice in changing weather conditions. There's a reason racing games add rain to increase the difficulty of a course. You got to model safe driving habits, like leaving at least 2 seconds of space between your car and the car ahead. And as a parent, you write a parent-teen driving contract to set the expectation of teen driving. And that was a response to, do video games affect teen driving? Yes, they do, clearly. Over the past couple of days, I was invited to 388 Restaurant. That's in Roslyn, New York. I could not turn it down. It was a cybersecurity seminar. There was a lot of good food going on there, and there was a special speaker, none other than four-time Stanley Cup winner Mike Bossy. And he was talking about leadership. He was giving us some stories with the late legendary coach Al Arbor, talking about some of his teammates during those years in the early 80s where that Islander dynasty was alive and well at the Nassau Coliseum. So it was a great night. Got a autographed picture. Took a picture with the great Mike Bossy. Wonderful. Got to thank our friends Semantic for reaching out to me to allow me to attend the event. Really, really excited about that. And before we close, we're going to talk real quickly about our friends at Splender. Splender's extra cashback campaign is extended. Splender members can continue earning 50 to 150% more in cashback through the end of the year at more than 800 of their favorite online retailers. So Splender is a unique online cashback shopping site, and it announced today that it's extending its extra cashback campaign through the end of the year. The double cashback offer lets consumers earn even more money while shopping at more than 800 online retailers spanning travel, beauty, fashion, sporting goods, children's stores, home and essentials, and more. This offer is available for Splender members now through New Year's Eve. That's December 31st, 2015. I can't name an online store that Splender doesn't have a partnership with. So, I mean, we're talking Home Depot. We're talking Lego. We're talking the Disney Store. We're talking Shoe Buy, Bloomingdale's. We're talking Orbitz, Groupon, Hotels.com. It's all over. It's all over. So, I mean, you got to be smart with the way you spend your money. You got to be smart this holiday season. Everything is costly. Everyone is, putting their coins together to ensure that they stay within their holiday budget. And it's key, because if you've already planned how you're going to afford this year's gifts, decorations, plane tickets, sugar plums, congratulations, because you're ahead of 58% of Americans who say they don't make a holiday budget. When it comes to staying on track, it can seem like the world is working against you for the holiday because the deals and seasonal sales. Here's a couple of quick tips to sticking to your plans. You have great sites like Splender, but also, if you don't use Splender, and I'm not talking about, Splender, the sugar, or is that Splendid, or I don't know. But here's a couple of tips to help you stick to your plan. Double check your figures while reviewing your budget. Make sure you've accounted for all holiday expenses, centerpieces for dinner, garlands for parties, and gifts for, the Secret Santas at the office. It might surprise you to see what you spend every year. Non-gift items add up, and many more people forget to factor them into their budgets. Set clear priorities. If you set a spending limit, make sure that you put the money towards whatever brings you the most joy. Take the time to really figure out what makes you happy. It's really important to you that your children get a lot of gifts. And that's fine. But maybe you and your spouse agree to spend less on gifts on each other. It's easier to stick to a budget when it reflects what you really want to be spending on. You got to look at the bargains all year. Eagle Eye shoppers can pick up great seasonal decorations at Tag, at garage sales in the off-season, giving you more room to play around with for your holiday budget. We picked up a nice $700 artificial tree at an estate sale in our town for $35. Now we don't have to spend the usual $100 or so on a Christmas tree. Bring a friend along. Take a friend or spouse to the mall for support. Tell them your budget and your shopping list so that you can stop from making impulse purchases for yourself and others. Start a holiday fund. Starting in January in 2016, save a little bit every month and use this earmarked money for gift purchases and other holiday expenses. If you save just $75 per month from January to November, and by December, you have plenty more than the $804 most Americans say they'll spend on the holidays. Saving over time will help you avoid the large cash outflow at the end of, next year, and the temptation to carry a holiday debt on a credit card or take out a holiday loan. Designating savings specifically for holiday use also means that you're likely to save more. and less likely to cheat and use non-holiday funds for holidays expenses. Studies show that earmarking money helps people exert more self-control over spending. I mean, you got to be smart about this. You can't be an impulse buyer. And with that, that's our news and notes for this week. Next week's show, we're going to have a couple of guests scheduled. Excited. We're going to talk about technology gifts for what are the hottest technology gifts for this season. We're going to have Niall Nickel, who I also is a label mate on Life Improvement Radio, who's going to be joining us to talk that. Whole host of others. Hope you're doing well. You and yours are doing well, enjoying the holiday season. I want to say thank you for listening to Late Night Parents. This is Ted Hicks. Catch us on Twitter, Late Night Parent. Catch us on Facebook, Late Night Parent. Go to latenightparents.com. And the podcast is always available. Always available. Thursday mornings, the latest. With that being said, thanks so much. And we say good night.